What are you gonna do? She already bought the dress and she wants to have her breasts out. You know in the back of your head that fashion is at this point. You understand that there's gonna be women to dress a certain way as long as it's a respectable way. Like, if she dressed like a porn star, that's different.
I don't know. I like a woman that could, you know what I mean, that could dress well. Mm-hmm. And I like a woman that comes through dressed for the occasion. You know what I mean? If there's no occasion for it, you want to wear a short dress and have your titties out, that's to me is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
she okayed it.
Yes,
she's an adult. I think that's fine. I think she's not really getting too much flack for it. For some reason, Kanye's getting all the flack for it. But she's an adult. First, I wanted to talk about how, man, that snowstorm yesterday, when I say thank the heavens, alhamdulillah, buddy, it's an understatement.
Yeah.
I was outside in the snowstorm. I drove from Toronto to Mississauga to go to a spot for roller skating, right? Oh my God, when I tell you that the roads were the worst ever. I've never driven in those conditions in my life.
Really? I thought it wasn't that bad.
No, it was bad.
Maybe it was because you went far.
No, because it's like
it was light snow. It wasn't even like the icy one.
I thought it was bad in the sense that because the visibility on the highway was crazy. Like I could barely see, and I was like, my windshield wipers were going. They were really going. And it's like, it was going fast, like the windshield wipers, so I'm able to see. But even that, with the visibility was shot. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then by the time I got out of the roller skating spot, I came back to my car. Buddy, my car was completely covered in snow, right? But luckily I was wearing boots, so like even though I was walking, and the snow was pretty high, it didn't go into my socks or anything. But then I had to wipe my car down and stuff of that sort. So it was crazy. But like roller skating in general is a vibe, just because the spot that we went to is called Scooters. It's in Mississauga.
Yeah, I know Scooters.
Yeah. So it's my second time going. Yeah, but it's just like an alternate universe because you're going back in time of a time like it's very retro based, vintage. 100%. You know what I mean? And you're seeing people skating around. I said the only thing that would make it even better is if you had servers roller skating to you, serving your meal.
Or meal,
That would be
given to you where? Like, where
I feel like if it was big enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people have their seats where they're sitting down and they're chilling, and then you got people roller skating towards you. Cause I remember Archie's Weird Mystery. They had something like that. So I just thought about like that would make the experience that much cooler. But nonetheless, that was a cool experience of mine. Yeah, that was what I did.
What's your thoughts on like just doing activities as a date? Like, are you a guy that does like activities, or you do the traditional like get food, bar?
I mean, I do both, but like I like activities because activities is like it's outside the box. You know what I mean? Sometimes like when you're on a dinner, if you're on a dinner date, like sometimes it's kind of boring. Like I wouldn't want to. I like to do different things on a date. Like if I have an idea of like a good activity to do, and I want to do it because regardless of how the date goes, I want to have fun.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
100%.
I want to make sure I have a good time.
Which you should. If you're floating the bill,
exactly,
you might as well enjoy your moment.
Then if I'm having a great time, we all having a great time. It doesn't even matter the outcome at this point. Even if we go out to eat, I want to go to somewhere I want to go that I always wanted to go to. So now I'm like, I'm intrigued about being here. I'm not just going here because that's what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand that. But how about, what would you do in a scenario now that, like, say you're talking to somebody, but they're not really into that? Say they're like a woman that's more like glamorized, doesn't really want to sweat and doesn't really want to do physical activities. Like, some women carry themselves a little bit different.
Then you got the wrong girl, bud.
But no, what I'm saying is, do you avoid those type of women, or do you just adjust to what it is? Because what I'm trying to say is every woman you deal with has different attributes. They like different stuff. You can't expect every single woman to be on board with everything that is you like, right? Just like you're not on board with everything that is she likes.
It depends where I rate the activity that we're doing, you know what I mean? In terms of if it's not if she doesn't want to like rollerblade because she can't skate, then I don't really skate all the time. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like we could pivot into something else. You know what I mean? So it's not, but it depends. If it's something that I do on a daily and she doesn't do it, then it's like I don't see how
what would you do on a daily, like activity wise?
Activity wise,
I'm saying that you would invite her to, like that you would do together.
Maybe I'm trying to see what I would do activity wise. I'm pretty open to a lot of stuff. Like let's say like bowling, you know what I mean? Like, let me say like let's go bowling or whatever the case. I like bowling, you know what I mean? I go bowling with my friends like a lot. So it's
and
like,
you know a lot of girls have their nails done, hair done,
everything. I mean,
so
honestly, I'm not. Let me be honest. Let me be fully honest. I feel like I will accommodate. It depends on what it is. You know what I mean? If it's bowling, like how much is bowling gonna play a part in our relationship?
But realistic, no, but let's be realistic, guys. Let's be realistic. Yeah. Most of the times, if you ever talk about activities, how many activities and places do you go with women in general? Like, chances are you're not even if it's your girl. You're not doing that much activities.
You're right.
You're not doing that. Like,
so activity is not a deal breaker.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not a deal breaker, man.
It's not. We gonna work around it.
It's not something they do like that. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while, yes, okay, I get it.
But then you could, just. In terms of going on dates and stuff, in terms of activities, I just, like sometimes you just want to do something that's out the norm and just put someone in a situation where it's just like, what's going to happen in this situation? You know what I mean? Like we could go to dinner, but like I've done this when I was young. I took a girl to a strip club on the first date.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And it was just like, it was crazy, but it was
good.
How
did that go? Explain
it was good. It was
lit. It's crazy.
What?
You can't just skip that over. You got to explain how this first date.
I don't know.
Details on that one.
So when I was younger, like a little younger, I used to just be adventurous. I used to just want to do stuff just to see how it would turn out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, normally it's like, you take a woman to a strip club, it's kind of crazy, you know what I mean? But like I'm like, all right, let's go to the strip club. And I made it a situation, I made it fun. Like let's role play, you know what I mean? Let's act like we've been together for years. While the stripper come, I'm going to see if I could get one of them to dance on you or hit on you. And it went into like, it was a fun activity because like I'm fun, I'm funny, you know what I mean? I'm charismatic in situations like that. And she didn't expect it to go that way. Because when she said strip club, she maybe she thought I was trying to be a pervert or like, she just thought, but I was just literally like, let's have fun, let's drink, let's hang out, you know what I mean? I'm more big on having like a companionship relationship with a girl, whereas if we're going out, we're gonna have a good time. You know what I mean? Like that's what I was on, and it was good. It was lit. Like it was a strip club. I got her lap dance. You know what I mean?
It's a first, and I've never heard of that. Like no one has ever told me that story. That's interesting.
Wow. I mean, kudos to you for
sure.
And it was lit. It was like she had a great time. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, let's do it. You know what I mean?
So basically, you like spontaneity.
Yeah. No. Speaking of that, because you're talking about strip clubs.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how in the Grammys, Kanye West came up with his wife and she was wearing next to nothing. Did you see that?
Yeah, I seen that, man. I can't even defend my man Kanye no more. I be trying to defend him.
I want to know what's wrong with what happened.
What's wrong with Kanye, first of all?
Honestly,
what do you think? Yeah.
So I grew up in Chicago. I love Kanye. Kanye is like my favorite rapper of all time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've listened to
Me too.
College Dropout. Like I knew Kanye.
Graduation.
Yeah. My elementary school was walking distance from his house. Like in Lakeshore. You know what I mean? So it's like I've known Kanye all my life, basically. And I've seen the transition of Kanye.
He must have been huge in Chicago.
He was huge. He was crazy huge. Like all the places he went to in the first Through the Wire video. I've been there. Like, you know what I mean? Like I love Kanye. No homo. But at the same time, certain things he's doing now is just. It just feels like he just wants to be a part of a conversation. He just wants to do things. Just to have, like, it's becoming, he's like, I feel like Kanye himself, he's trying to be as big as his name almost. For instance, like, there's nothing wrong with I guess like in his own head, he probably thought of the whole, like I seen him like prepping up to the situation before the Grammys where he's showing Pamela Anderson presenting a cake to you, FNp&x. I don't know if you guys seen that.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so he's almost saying like, you know, like if Hugh Hefner could do it, why can't I do it type of thing. You know what I mean? Or like why is it frowned down upon for me to do these things? But then I'm like, are you just doing these things for just shock value and conversation because you want to sell some shit now?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I'm like, yo, as Kanye, you don't need to do that.
Move is calculated.
Everything's calculated. And as my brother said, he's a celebrity, so his job is to entertain.
Especially a celebrity that's trying to be relevant. He's not a celebrity that tries and hides from the media.
It's like you're cheapening your value of artistry, of what you know what I mean? Like, you don't need all this gimmicky things.
But this is what I would argue, because I was talking about this with my friend just the other day, and I would say that this is Kanye's formula. Like, even me as a fan of Kanye West, you know, this is part of his strategy since day one.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about it. He's had the George Bush hates black people. He's had the Taylor Swift moments at the VMAs. He's had the moments where he spazzes on Jay-Z. He's had the moments where he just spazzes online, you know, the Jewish community, all these different like communities that he's offended. Black people, slavery was a choice. He also said that.
He wore the hat, the Make America's
MAGA hat. He's done
Make America's great again.
Plenty of things and controversies and
least
showcase women.
That's his character.
And even showcase women as a sort of what is it, like a
mannequin exhibit,
you know, like kind of get the women to be exhibitionists around them, right? Wearing certain stuff. Amber Rose was the same way. So for me, when I see something like that, like bringing his wife to the Grammys and she's dressed what they would say is naked, for me personally, I found no problem with it. And I didn't even look at Kanye in terms of if he's brainwashing or if he's
not at all
cult or
not
this
at
or
all,
because that's what people were saying, and I'm like, I don't know about
all the conspiracy theories. They take it too far, like, you know, like I don't know. I just feel like,
hypnotized. Like,
before, when Kanye used to do things, it used to feel like he was authentically doing these things.
Absolutely.
Now it seems like it's more gimmicky.
But again, He was up and comer at the time, and now he's a very established guy at the time. It's a big difference in terms of, like, you know, we can say the same thing as you know, some people behave within the rules, like Jay-Z, right? Like, he's doing this thing from when he was younger. As he got older, he tamed himself down. Kanye, he turns it up. He's a guy that turns it up, and he's gonna kamikaze himself to the end. At
the same time,
but he had the pattern of that too.
Yeah, he has a pattern of that, but I feel like he's just always pushing the envelope that he's pushing right now. I don't feel like he needs to do that. Like, I don't really need to be honest.
But that's part of his
who wants to see your wife naked? Like, she's
well, they made it a big deal,
or whatever.
So whatever he was after is working, because
people talked about this.
He wanted people to talk about his entrance. I don't even think his goal was to go into the Grammys. He
didn't go in the Grammys.
I know he didn't.
But he was invited.
He left.
But I'm thinking that wasn't even his goal in terms of going into the Grammys. He just wanted to make a statement and say, I'm bigger than life, and then walk away. Mic drop. I'm out of here.
Well, how's your girl showing up naked making you bigger than life?
Because I think American Vogue magazine picked it up. They issued her like a spot talking about what she was wearing. I think that was one of his. Is
his goal is just to make his wife famous at this point?
No, I think the goal is for the fashionistas community.
I would even say
that's what it was.
I don't even think it is.
I wouldn't say that much. I think, you know, what his goal is, whether, you know, he wants his woman to look like she's in a humiliation ritual or, you know, she's just expressing herself, it's kind of irrelevant. The point of the matter is that Kanye West, he showed up. The woman exposes herself. The woman's a nobody. She's only tied to Kanye.
Yes.
Right?
We know her,
she
like,
might be a model or something like this, but she's a nobody.
Yes.
At the end of the day, her stripping down naked is really nothing. You know, we don't even know her background. Was she a porn star? I don't know what she was doing online.
That is true.
Or what she has out there of herself, right? No one knows because she's not popular of that nature.
But she didn't put herself out there like that. She just kind of like in Kanye's shadow.
But again, I think Kanye's a master marketer, and his marketing ways are, you know, kind of guerrilla style. Like, they're very unorthodox, and they're things that you wouldn't do and I wouldn't do, and maybe we wouldn't understand neither. Because I don't think any move he's done is like an understandable move. It's like where that was a great move.
I feel like some of the moves that he has done in the past,
of
it
course,
made sense. You know what I mean?
When
now
he was
like,
on the straight
what
and narrow.
Is the deep sense beside like, yo, you wanted to market your new album and all that. Well, like, what is the deeper reason? Like, are you just showing like what are you?
You know, the funny thing is,
conversation. Like, what are you?
He probably trying to recreate.
Yeah, he is trying to recreate. And you know, David Goggins actually said a quote before. He said that when a person no longer is able to understand you, you're in the right spot, because that means you've ascended so far that logic alone cannot make you understand what a move.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's
you can't even comprehend what the person's move is doing. It's just like when David Goggins does all this crazy stuff and people are like, this guy's crazy, he's insane. He's the hardest man on earth. It's like, this is the sweet spot. This is where I want to be, because no one will go to these limits to this extent to get to where I am. And this is why I am where I am. No matter how much times I kamikaze myself, I'm able to resurrect and become something even greater.
I get what you're saying, but I just feel like there's a point where you're deep and it's just too deep. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like,
really?
I feel like yo, like you can make nonsense make sense with the right statements and with the right sayings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you can make shit make.
Of course.
And
you're right. You're right about that.
That's how everything is.
You know what I mean? Like we can't confirm nothing. The only thing that we're sure about in life is death and taxes. You know what I mean? Everything else you can make it. You can say something deep and be like, oh, I did this because it's an artistic view.
Yeah, you're right.
But bro, you're not making. At the end of the day, if you're not making sense, you're not making like. At the end of the day,
but again, someone will argue you're thinking in the logical.
I'm thinking in the logical point of view. I understand that. Yes.
Okay, tell me the logic about Kendrick winning 5 Grammys.
Hold on, before we
tell me what the logic is on that.
Before we get into that, I honestly wanted to talk about the Bianca situation, just in terms of women, just generally speaking, and how they dress. I wanted to talk about policing women and how they dress. You seeing the photos that you seen of Kanye and Bianca, of the way she was dressed at the Grammys. What was your thoughts on just that factor? Did you have any thought process?
I was just like, oh, she naked.
Same.
She got some big titties.
Yeah,
that was naked. That.
She has some really good titties. That's what I said.
That's what I said. But I'm just, I don't have a problem with her being naked. I don't have a problem with it. I just feel like, Kanye doing that is cheapening his.
But forget about Kanye's portion.
Not even Kanye. I don't care about. If she wants to be naked, she could be naked. That's her body.
You had no outrage towards the nakedness. You're okay with women pulling up that way.
Yeah, you could put, but it depends. Like all attention is not good attention. Like, would you want your woman pulling up to a spot where your homie's at butt naked? Like, I wouldn't necessarily want that, but I wouldn't care if another woman come.
But would you police your woman on any outfit she wore? Would you have to police her?
I mean, butt naked is crazy. You know what I mean? But
like I said, are you policing your woman on the outfit she wears? Butt naked doesn't have to be the extreme.
No,
because for me, the extreme is not butt naked. There's other factors that I'll be like, okay, wait a second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not policing in the sense of, but yeah, I'll police if. I know I'm talking in circles. I'm policing. If you try to be like, oh, babe, I want to show up butt naked to like.
Nah, I never said butt naked.
How bad are we talking?
Well, I said, okay, breasts out. Women tend to wear stuff that are see-through, sheer, tits out, nipples can be seen.
Yeah, I'm policing still.
But why are you policing something of that nature if that's like how women express themselves?
It's like. At the same time, like, I don't know. I like a woman that could, you know what I mean, that could dress well. And I like a woman that comes through dress for the occasion. You know what I mean? If there's no occasion for it and you want to wear a short dress and have your titties out, that's to me is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like, dress for the occasion of where you're going.
Yeah, so say you go to a nice restaurant, like a nice prestigious restaurant.
Okay.
She wears a dress. The dress is see-through.
And she's my woman, or like
she's your woman. Like this is your woman.
Been dating
this is your woman that you've been dating for a year plus.
I don't know, but I don't think
she's going to thin. That's the part of the fashion. You're not gonna police that.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to let it slide. I'm telling you right now. What are you gonna do? She already bought the dress and she wants to have her breasts out. You know, in the back of your head that fashion is at this point. you understand that there's gonna be women to dress a certain way as
get
long
what you're
as
saying.
it's a respectable way. Like, you know, if she dressed like a porn star, that's different.
Yeah,
if she's dressed in a more artistic, style-wise way, you wouldn't.
And
have
it looks
too much
good.
of an
I'm not
issue.
gonna have too much issue.
I'm telling you, you might not be used to it.
But what I'm saying,
gonna be, it's part
my
of the
question
fashion.
is like, I won't have, if you're dressed in a certain way, if it's part of fashion, whatever. I'm never the type of person to be like, yo, you can't wear that. You know what I mean? But,
unless it's salacious, then it's different.
But if you're showing up wearing what Kanye West's wife wore, and you're saying that, yo, you want to go to dinner, that is crazy.
Well, she wouldn't be allowed at any venue, you know.
I think for Bianca, I don't even know if it was her choice of wardrobe. I don't know if it was.
It was her choice because she agreed.
No, I think it was her choice for wearing it. But in terms of who picked it out, I don't think that was her choice.
Most of those people at the Grammy is not their choice.
Yes, somebody picked it out. She said she okayed it.
Yes,
she's an adult. I think that's fine. I think she's not really getting too much flack for it. For some reason, Kanye's getting all the flack for it. But she's an adult. And I would think that a lot of feminists would be behind it and say, like, what's their mantra that they always say? My body, my choice.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that they would be, this is liberation of the women.
Yeah. That's what I think.
You know what I mean? So what are we talking about here?
The only thing I'll give Kanye is, like, I think what he does is he tries to, like, us question society norms and always think of things like, this would have been a feminist empowerment.
But that's what I would think.
If I wasn't involved. So this would have been da 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 da.
If she came by herself,
easy.
It would have been like, if I wasn't involved, so he's breaking
the narrative would have been different.
It's like he's finding hypocritical things.
Yeah, he's
the hypocrisy of it.
He's catching people that, you know, that are hypocritical.
Yeah, in terms of things. And honestly, sometimes I feel like I know that he's trolling. Like, he's saying, some of the stuff he's saying, he's like, yo, let me, like, I heard, like, he's saying all these things on Twitter. Just to see how far he can really, like, people say Twitter is about what you're thinking. Like, you need to type out what you're thinking, your thought process. So if you're thinking these things all the time, certain things you can't even put on Twitter because of the cancel culture. Like, you know, they'll be like, yo, you could think it, but don't put it on Twitter. But it's not what Twitter is for. So I guess, like,
he's catching all the contradictions, the hypocrisy of it all, and who's basically policing what can be done, what can be said. And he's basically showing people that there's a limit to what you can do. You may think, it's unlimited. You can do whatever you want. Pie in the sky. But that's not the reality of
there's a box that we're in.
There is a box, and he's showing you where it ends, you know, where it starts and where it ends. But I do want to transition to Kendrick and him winning the 5 Grammys. And Not Like Us, that specific song.
Of the year,
rap song of the year. Rap song of the year. I think that was that I can't really argue that wasn't. But do you think he's gonna perform that in the Super Bowl?
For sure. He's definitely got to perform that.
He definitely got to do that.
I heard
he just won a Grammy for it.
I heard Drake is gonna try and.
I heard he has something special. He apparently has something in the tuck for Drake's ass. I'm joking.
I heard Drake had something special for him. Coming into the Super Bowl, because
it's gonna be interesting. I want to see it. The Super Bowl is about to happen, and that halftime show is gonna be a big one.
It's gonna be a big one. But he said a lot of people are gonna be getting sued if he plays that song. So that means, like, Drake is gonna sue the NFL. He's gonna sue like everything that's around it.
They're gonna sue for
They're gonna sue because it's defamation of character on his end.
On Drake's end.
Like what Kendrick is saying. Like, unless that line is bleeped out or whatever.
The pedophile. They have to change a bunch of lines.
They have to change a bunch of lines.
Maybe he won't say his name. Maybe he'll be
but he never said his name.
He did, hey Drake, I heard you like him young.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna have to change those lines.
But you would just say, "Hey,
I just feel like he's gonna have to change some lines, but he's gonna have to perform that song. But he's gonna change some lines in it. But
what's your thoughts now, like, of this getting this far? We're at the Super Bowl. Like, this guy's gonna perform. This is one of the biggest rap beefs we definitely seen.
I just feel like, you know, like I listen to Drake a lot. You know, we're from Toronto or whatever the case may be. But I just feel like Kendrick was just he was just out chest, like it was a chess match,
Yeah, and he
just
him.
out chest.
Yes, he did.
I feel like personally, I think like personally, I feel like Drake was in a position where he shouldn't even pay that whole situation no mind. He could have got away with it if he never paid no mind. But like he paid it in mind, but he wasn't as it's like this guy has been preparing to do this for so long. And he knew exactly every step of the way. He knew exactly what was next. Yeah, you know what I mean.
But I think for Drake looked at it as I couldn't back down. It was Kendrick Lamar. It wasn't like some bum on the street that just wanted fame. This is like a guy that, you know, when he makes music, you can't just turn around and say, I'm just gonna leave him alone.
I mean, like when the whole like that shit happened, I feel like Drake could have just been like, this, you know, small fries. You know what I mean?
But
like,
he called him a pedophile. Like I mean, you can't turn around.
It got to that point. But when it first initially started, remember it was Drake. Like after
he had a different song first.
Okay.
It was Drake. Drake was the one where it was like, yo, he subliminally dissed Drake on the Future track.
Okay,
like what Big Three.
I think that's what triggered. Yeah,
I feel like Drake shouldn't have responded.
I
feel like he could have just been like, yo, I don't got time for this.
That's where he should have stopped. I think that was just
a subliminal. It wasn't like too shot at you, but
exactly.
Anyways,
I think Drake arrogancy of like, yo, I'm Drake. What got him in that position. This guy was already ready, prepared.
You're right.
Calculated.
He baited him and he took the bait.
The big problem here too, what Drake has is that he never had a single to surpass that single yet. Like he's never.
So we don't know what he has in the tuck right now.
Well, whatever he has in the tuck, he's let too much time pass. So the loss is stamped on your record, right? Like people are not gonna take that off your record.
But Drake is still Drake, though. At the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Wait a second, Drake. What you did in the past is what you did in the past. What you do moving forward is what you do moving forward, right? At the end of the day, you can have a great first half, and then your second half, you know, we're gonna see what the aftermath is after the song, right? At the end of the day, before the song, he was Drake. After the song, he's not the same Drake as before because I've never heard no hit record on the radio playing of Drake since that time. That song came out a year ago.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
But you know what, though?
I haven't heard any hits.
You have to look at it this way, right? I feel like you could bounce back from a rap battle loss. You could. Jay-Z did it. You know what I mean? Jay-Z lost to Nas back in the day.
Back in the day, and he came back.
At the end of the day, like, nobody talks about that. Like, oh, Nas killed Jay-Z. Like, it's not.
Nas never had a record that won a Grammy. Nas is not going to be at the Super Bowl performing that same said song.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
And then Nas never had. Hold on, Nas never had the backing of the likes of like LeBron, all these other people that went to the video, went to the thing. It's like. It's a different level of celebrity. It's not the same. Kendrick and Nas have never sniffed Kendrick's fame. Like it's a different way. Like him, like he's popping right now. That's the thing. Kendrick's more popping than Drake right now as we speak.
Yeah, because that's what's happening right now.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Overall, though, like at the end of the day, I love Kendrick. I know Kendrick won the battle. Like I listen to Kendrick, but overall, though, it's like at the end of the day, if Drake left the music industry, he's leaving a big void in the music industry. Like Kendrick could leave for 2-3 years and
nobody will really say anything.
We don't really. If Drake's making music for 2-3 years,
that's a big.
It's like it's
a big deal.
It's a big deal. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he could still. I feel like he just needs to get into his chest bag. I
think that's what he's doing right now. I think he's doing that.
I'm curious to see what happens at the Super Bowl.
Even the
Super Bowl
and all that stuff, I don't think he should have. You know what I mean? He shouldn't went that route. I feel like he's still playing this the wrong way.
Okay.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say when you're saying about the chess game. I'm like, well, he's still not necessarily putting pieces in the correct places, even to this point, right? So I'm just like, I don't know if he'll ever bounce back from this in terms of that beef. Yeah. But he'll do his thing in terms of music.
And I feel like the world is, you know what I mean? The world is overly like supporting this Kendrick movement of anti-Drake.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It's like everyone hates everyone. It's like the people that
they are supporting
this like crazy.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So
they want to see destruction. So basically, you're saying the power at B's are like really defending Kendrick and they're really pushing music to get to.
I don't know if it's Drake arrogancy, but like I feel like the power that be are trying to like nerf Drake.
Yes, that's how I feel as well.
Try and slow him down. Try and slow him down. But he's had a reign. He's had a long reign. I think just in time for anything in life, I think when you have a long reign, you're going to get to the point where enemies have been created silently or publicly or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And then, when it's time to fall, that's when everyone comes. I think that's just a lesson to be learned for a lot of people.
Exactly. So why didn't that happen to Beyonce? Because she just got Album of the Year. So I'm trying to understand, where's her enemies?
Yeah.
How is she able to just skirt through?
The thing about, I feel like things with. I think like the thing about Drake is a very. We never had a rapper like this. He's a calculated businessman. As well as one of the best rappers. You know what I mean? So some of the things that he does that come across as, oh, Drake is just a nice guy. I think they're back behind some serious business moves that will make someone else look at it like, yo, this is not my friend. You know what I mean? Like, but like I gotta smile and play this whistle game in front of him because like I'm hearing Drake be taking 95% of publishing. Of music and features on. You know what I mean?
Like for features.
That's a business
crazy.
move. Like if I was your mans and you're like, oh, I'm taking 95% of this.
That is crazy.
I'm not your mans like that.
Yeah, you can't release it unless I get majority of it.
So,
but at the same time, it's like, again, business and friends don't mix.
Business and friends. And I think he knows that literally like none of these people are his friends. You know what I mean?
It's business. But these guys aren't his buddies.
They're not his buddies. That this is business. We're doing businesses. But at the same time, you have to understand that there's stuff that comes with doing business like that as well. You can't be buddy, but like when they see you going down, they're gonna definitely jump on the ship.
They're like, you never did us any favors.
Exactly.
Like, it's the same with like what happened with Diddy, and you know when he was going down. Everybody's like, everyone said they're coming down.
You know what I mean?
They really tried to bury
defense.
Exactly.
Everyone's silent. People that you thought were your friends don't come out to support you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And if you're playing chess, you should be prepared for it. You should be already knowing that there's
a possibility.
This is coming down the line in the way. But I think Drake was he was just a little arrogant.
But I'm saying, how come that didn't happen to Beyonce?
He's saying like,
because Beyonce has Jay-Z. Apparently, like, you know what I mean? They pay the right people. They do enough. They scratch enough. They do enough favors that it doesn't come back in this sense of the way. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't come back and bite them this way.
And to be fair,
and they're powerful.
And to be fair, in like her industry, they don't have the same like competitiveness with other artists, right? Like with there's competitiveness, but for Beyonce's specific point, like she went into the country genre. Of course, there's competitiveness amongst those like country women or country men, whoever makes records. So she got country album of the year, yes. Right? So that's she won first black woman to get that. But they're smart enough to know. Maybe they do it in a way that doesn't rub people the wrong way. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe Drake did it a way that was rubbing people the wrong way, and that's what they didn't like. But again, Beyonce's been in the game very long. Way more than Drake.
There's no way that she didn't rub people the wrong way. There's no way.
But I feel like
she's been in the game over 20 years, and they have enough power that they can suppress any beefs and stuff like that. That's why you don't see them get into trouble. They have enough relationships.
They have enough relationships.
I feel like Drake's been in the game for a pretty long time at this point. Drake?
Yeah, he's been in the game
for a long time.
But Beyonce has like 10 years on him.
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah, even more than 10 years. She was all in the 90s.
Yeah, she was very...
In the 90s.
And you know what it is, though? Like, I feel like they all, like, you know, like, they come from a different generation where you had to play by certain rules.
I feel like, and they're more legendary status. I feel like I said, Beyonce is more legendary status. People are not going to stop those type of things from happening. People are going to allow those things to
I feel like they play a different game. Like, for instance, you see like Jay-Z did a whole speech about Beyonce not winning the Grammy.
He ripped them the last time too.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he had a speech the other year ripping at the Grammys.
They were never like go against the Grammys.
Yeah, I feel like he never ripped them disrespectfully. Like he just kind of said,
I feel like Drake, you heard Drake's speech on the Grammys. His speech was more like, you don't need this shit. You get money, you don't need this shit. So now it's like, now you have made an enemy of the Grammy doing that.
Absolutely.
So you're not thinking about like, okay, you know what? I don't need this. Drake looks at it like, yo, I make money. I sell out tours. I don't need this fucking Grammy. He put it as a doorstop on the studio. So
he put the Grammy on the
doorstop. So if you come out, if someone already came at you like that, the powers that be that runs the Grammys, they're looking at it like, yo, fuck this guy. You know
also says like to other artists, if Drake is looking at the Grammys like this, how important are the Grammys?
But people have done this before.
You only have played by those rules.
Who put in the toilet? Like someone put in the toilet.
Kanye.
Jesus.
Yeah, but like they're showing that you don't have to play by
those rules. Yeah, and they don't like that. They don't like that. Yeah, because it loses their credibility.
You're killing their prestige. And then Beyonce and Jay-Z they're friends with these people.
But they play the game. That's why they do it. That's why their shit, they don't have as much enemies, because they play the game.
They're playing the game. Yeah,
they play the game. Honestly,
because it's like now we're living in a world where you don't have to like. I think what we're learning now is that even streamers are more popular than rappers.
That's what we were talking about.
Kai Cenat, he went to the Grammys for the first time.
Whatever the fuck he wanted.
Yeah, and he was talking to people, and people knew who he was and stuff of that sort.
Saying that. Saying that. They're saying they're the new
wave.
They're more popular than the rappers. Now the rappers are like, the rappers are nobodies. Like people come around want to see the streamer. Like fuck off. Like
exactly.
And you know what though? I feel like the there's a gatekeeping society that is being broken down.
100%. The older ones, systems.
Exactly. So it's like the new, like Drake is the bridge between the older generation and the newer generation. So it's like we're looking at it from an aspect of like Drake is seeing it that y'all kind of need me as much as I need y'all. You know what I mean? Whereas like I don't need to go through I don't have to win Grammys to be known around the world as a prestige artist.
Yes,
I'm just a prestige artist because views alone.
But he's also diversifying, because now he's going on streamers platforms. What's that?
He went on the XQC guy. He went to this Canadian kid.
Aiden Ross. He went on that recently.
He had this other guy named XQC. He's like a Canadian streamer.
So that's what I mean. Like he's actually diversifying. He's seeing where the wave is.
Yes.
And he's starting to
But you see, all of those kind of things is cutting out the middleman.
Yes.
Because before that, you have to pay for marketing.
Yes.
Your face has to
be can just go buddy up with
buddy up with these guys. I mean, even Trump did that. You know,
even Trump did that. Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying. No, but then he actually bigged them up on the damn. It's like, come on, man.
So then now, but I watched that interview with Aiden Ross and Trump. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like just because I feel like now it's like before these gatekeepers in music, there's gatekeeper journalists.
Even like the Larry King. Like you would have to see that on Larry King. Now you see a young boy talking to older generation, closes the gap. I would rather listen to him, even though the kid's not like a serious journalist. I'd rather still him.
He's more relatable.
Talk to
he's just relatable, but it also tells you like you can kind of do anything in this world. Like I think that's what the image of these streamers are giving, where it's like, you being a streamer, you could take it wherever you want to take it. Look at that Speed Kid. He was just at the WWE wrestling. And he got
these kids are cutting out the middleman.
They are. They're changing the game.
The gatekeeper, you have to, for you to end up get a record deal, somebody executive, a journalist has to find you.
To be a model, you need an agent.
Now you don't need that. You just have to be like, if you want to be a model and you're pretty and you end up on Kai Cenat stream, done deal.
But I think, even with those guys, I think sometimes we're missing it too, because there was one guy, he was talking about how like, oh yeah, man, I started streaming and I was streaming for like a certain period of time and I never got no views. I got like maybe like 5-10 views. Like how come nobody's watching my streams and whatnot?
Right.
We don't know what their marketing power behind them are. They're always selective people that
they need to promote the company.
They're being promoted by somebody behind the scenes, but we think they're doing it authentically. and it's actually not going down like that.
Yeah,
You know
it's,
what I mean?
it's still power.
It is a power at
the
yeah.
The platform itself is promoting certain guys to get them to a certain level, right?
Yeah,
just like any industry, just like the NBA has to promote Jordan.
So it seems authentic, right? But look at Mahomes. He's going for his third Super Bowl. Right? You think refs are not helping this guy get to that point?
Not even that, but again, it's the Taylor Swift stuff.
The Taylor Swift stuff. There's powers that be that are making things happen.
They're pushing these.
Even for Lakers getting Luka Doncic.
Yeah,
that wasn't even discussed by people. But think to the Lakers, like of all teams, like you go to the Lakers.
There's something that's happening.
Why do the Lakers?
There's something that we're not looking at.
We're not looking at.
Have such luck. You think they're the only lucky franchise?
The Lakers always been the Lakers.
Yeah, and they always managed to get like a young
top
star franchise player. Like what? Why? Like how?
It's like. Yeah,
and as big as Luka Doncic
everything's
is,
coincidence.
And
there's a power behind people that's supporting you, no matter what,
or
it is.
making things happen,
that's pushing the agenda towards whatever they want.
Yeah, they're moving gears because like
winners stay winners.
Luka Doncic, he just came from the finals. How the heck did he get traded with nobody knowing?
No one knowing.
He just ended up. Oh yeah. They just shipped them off. He didn't even know.
They said
he didn't even know.
There's a business move apparently.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a poker game happening in the back.
He's good enough to get his jersey hung in one season.
Yes.
Because that franchise only won one finals.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's literally like one of their best players ever. By default. Like,
his jersey's going to get hanged in the rafters. When it's all said and done, I think he's going to be on.
He's 25. He has such a long career.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that because they traded him, I think they'll still put his jersey in the rafters.
Of the Mavericks?
Yeah, on the Mavericks. Just because it's like, well, he got traded without his consent. He just kind of like, but
something is definitely happening that the general
we're not privy. We're not privy though.
Yeah, because it's like it could have been a poker game or some shit between like the powers that be,
and their buddies too, right?
Oh, they're buddies too.
I'm assuming they're buddies. On some level,
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It shows you how like maybe Kanye was right about some stuff. It shows you how powerless. You know what I mean? Some of us are in certain situations.
Everyone approaches things differently, the way they get their message out there. That's another thing, too, people have to realize. The way people get their message out there, it might seem radical to you, but then someone else is reading between the lines and seeing, okay, I understand what he's trying to do. It's a lot of fluff and a lot of things you can get distracted by, but if you really look at the underlying message, this is what he's trying to promote. So I think... even when it comes to anyone trying to do something and they do it a way you don't understand, I think the big thing is that just because you don't understand doesn't mean there's no reason behind it. And I think that sometimes we just don't get what other people are doing, right? So we try and judge it from the outside because we only have a little bit of, information.
Our view is
judge
limited.
it on the outside. We're like, why is he doing this? Well, why did he say that? Like, what's he doing? Is he promoting this? Is he trying to make a sale on that? But I think the ultimate thing is we don't necessarily know. But again, we only can observe from what we've seen, and we can only speculate.
It goes to show that maybe, like, I'm going back to Kanye, but maybe people like, and going back to what you said earlier, people with power don't play by the rules.
Yeah,
they don't 100%. Play by the rules. You can make it make sense.
Yes, definitely not. by logic.
You can try to make it make sense all you want, but like if I decided that I want to trade Luka,
that's what it
trade
is.
Luka.
Yes,
that's what I mean.
You can't do anything about it.
He can't do nothing about it. No one can.
And that's the thing. Sometimes certain moves that are being made, like it's just like they're gonna be made how they're made, whether you understand it or you don't understand it. They know more than you. And then you're not in that scenario.
It's not even they know more than they just don't play by the rules.
Jason Kidd's their coach, and he had no idea about what was going on. Word? Like the GM was like, oh yeah, this was my decision. Jason Kidd didn't even know what was going on, and Jason Kidd was just sitting there like dumbfounded, like
what is this?
No, he's just like, what's going on?
That guy left the press conference and left Jason Kidd to answer the question.
Just imagine the man just lost, just like.
So basically, maybe Kanye is right. Maybe even at the top, they're still pawns.
Yeah, of course. He understands that with his wealth, right? When he'd been dealing with Adidas, losing the contract, his wealth was fluctuating big time because the contract made a big difference in the gap of wealth he had, and then when he is not with that contract, it made a difference, right?
And even like sometimes it's like, like they can give you all the prestiginess of this wealth, but are you really worth a few billions if someone could take a contract from you and now your money goes down.
I think that's where you have to be careful for.
I think they cut him and he went down.
He went down to 200 mil.
But I think that's why they give you that carrot, because they could take it away from you at any time.
Anytime they give you enough power. Yes, and that power, like
that's their leverage. That's their leverage on you.
And do we see, like, if you go against the power, they will like chastise you, and put you back in place. Like even Drake and LeBron. Like, why is LeBron turning on Drake? You know what I mean? Like,
in any power system, there has to be rules. Like, there's always gonna be rules people have to abide by in any type of power structure, especially the higher level.
The higher you go,
sure. Like,
it's definitely some things that's happening. More, like LeBron,
higher
DJ
level, higher
Khaled. Y'all never talk about Palestine.
Yeah, like why? Even those guys. Yeah,
like there's a reason why you don't talk about Palestine.
Well, exactly.
There's politics behind it.
There's politics behind it, right? Politics, and the people that are running it, the whole
there's someone
scene.
that will tell you, like, yo, listen, stay away from that.
Of course, there's people that are warning you. Hey, listen, you talk about this, you're gonna get in trouble.
Apparently, they had something like that with Drake. Apparently, he like signed some wall and for the Jews to stop bombing the Palestinians in that sense. But then I think he signed something or cast or a wall or something like that, and then they're trying to tie it into one of the executives at his Universal, and that executive being Jewish, and the fact that this guy took a stand.
Like certain
even
things
for the
can't,
little things you don't know, right? Behind the scenes, you don't know what's gonna rub someone the wrong way. And that's the thing, when you don't know what's gonna rub someone the wrong way, it's like, are you ever in control? Because that means you have to tippy-toe for everything, right? So are you ever in control? Even though you're getting paid, high paid employee, doesn't mean you have power. And a lot of times these guys are powerless to a lot of these situations. Hence why Kanye is a guy that goes against the grain.
Well, look how many guys. Nobody thinks for themselves.
Yes. Like, but look how many guys. They're all tied into the system, and then you can also look back at how many people has been thrown into prison, that has been incarcerated, who thought they were bigger than life. They thought they were bigger than being black, and then they get put in their place. Tiger Woods gets put in his place. You got other guys. Then you got Bill Cosby, he got thrown into prison, put in his place. You got R. Kelly, put in his place.
That's when if you try to be by yourself, if you try to go against the whole,
Russell Simmons,
if you try to go against the power that made you,
they're gonna take you down.
They're gonna show you, like, yo,
who you
everything that you have, we could take it away from you.
You're just a pawn in the game.
Realistically, it makes sense to get you when you're young, because most of these artists have started when they're young. You're going to have dirt on people throughout the years.
100%.
Like, I mean, if you got in there, even if you're 20, from that 20s to 30s, how much shit you did in between, like, people know what you did.
I think they have to have dirt on you.
You have to, but you're always going to have dirt on somebody. You're always going to have dirt on somebody. No one has a clean sheet.
Well, if you do have a clean sheet, they're not dealing with you.
Yeah, if you have a clean sheet and there's nothing on you, they might not want to deal with you, find you dangerous. You get what I mean?
Yes.
But if you have something,
it is kind of like, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but it is kind of weird that, like, everything just get navigated in the way that goes directly with the public opinion or whatever thing that they're pushing at the time.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? Like,
this is why.
Coincidentally, you always go that, like, the most opinionated person will never speak on the topic that doesn't go.
That's not in alignment with the agenda.
I think that's how we all are, and we understand that even being in this country, when they say freedom of speech, we also know that there's still consequences to speech. It may not. There's freedom to speech. You can say whatever you want. You're not going to go to jail for it, but those consequences may affect you financially. It may affect you socially. It may affect you even on a personal level.
But that's life anyway. Everything has consequences.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like, anything you do is like. I think freedom of speech. Just because you could say anything, don't mean you should say anything.
It's funny you say that. There's a guy, Idi Amin from Uganda, prior president. He said this. He said this in this. I'm paraphrasing what he said. He goes, everybody has freedom of speech, but whatever happens afterwards, well,
it's on you.
That's on you.
You can say whatever you want,
but we can't. We can't determine the outcome.
So at the end of the day, nobody's saying whatever they want. Like everybody has filters about certain things. Certain things, I'm like,
I guess they should have put that as a backdrop to that the freedom of speech. I guess they need to put sub like notes,
a disclaimer.
Because it goes like, well,
at
freedom
your
of
own
speech,
risk.
we all freedom of speech at your own risk. This may cause to get your ass whooped, may cause to you getting killed, may cause to like a lot of different.
That's always happening. Like
disclaimer, because that's what happens.
People can say the N-word all they want, but if you get your ass whooped and say the N-word, that's on you.
They're saying whatever word, right? Like words get people killed all the time.
Exactly.
So you better be careful what you say to who, because if you say something to the wrong person, that might be a death.
The only freedom we gave you is to say it.
Exactly.
What happens next up to you.
So we are coming to a conclusion of the podcast. So I just want you to give your conclusion to, when it comes to the Grammys, just the discussion that we just had today, just talking about that and how people should moving forward.
Honestly, like how people should move is weird because like we just had a whole conversation and I'm leaving this conversation thinking like maybe Kanye is on to something. Maybe he is right because like he pushing the boundary of being able to do whatever you want without any consequences. But and at the other thing now I'm looking at it like just because you have the power to do whatever you want doesn't mean that there's no consequences for it.
Yes.
And you need to be responsible with the consequences of whatever you're doing, whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like everybody, you're right. Everybody in power don't get to do whatever they want because there's consequences.
Yes.
It's just that simple. You know what I mean? And I look at it like just because you can make your girl, she shows up to the Grammys naked, she has her titties out, whatever the case may be. Bro, there's a consequence to that action that will end up being, it could be later. Now people think it's like, now your kids will feel like it's okay to show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're setting a standard to that now.
And
it's like
that is true.
Forget he has a family.
I forget he has like 4 kids.
You have kids. So like, are you saying that when they grow up now, like if they want to show up to a award show butt naked,
that's true.
Yeah,
the daughter. Yes, 2 daughters. Yeah,
exactly. You gonna be cool with it as a black man. You're not gonna be cool with that. You know what I mean? So
and
like,
he complains about these things.
And he complains. You say you don't want your daughter on TikTok.
Yeah,
so now,
exactly.
Which side? Like pick a side, brother.
Yeah. What are we doing, brother?
Pick a side. So there's nothing. You could do whatever you want, but. Just because you're Kanye doesn't mean you should neglect the consequences of your actions.
Yes.
That's it.
But they ruled him as crazy already. So he's mentally ill. So he's trying to use that leverage to his advantage at the same time.
Yeah, but like, shit, it is crazy if you're not thinking about the consequences of your actions. That is crazy. Right. He said it himself. He's like, why do people think you're crazy? I do crazy shit. So you're doing something crazy, but there's consequences to what you're doing.
Yeah, like for me in the whole scenario, like even just this conversation, I'll say this much. I'll say don't get so hung up on being a hypocritical person. I'll be honest, because I think we get hung up on, going against our word, going against something we said we would do or wouldn't do, or we get caught up in not trying to be a hypocrite, and then we make moves that, are just sticking to our principles sometimes, something that we had in place where we say, okay, we won't do this, we won't do that. But I think you have to just be adaptable when it comes to anything in life. Don't worry too much about the contradictions, because the fact of the matter is we all walk in contradictions. We'll say one thing one day, but then if we're in that scenario, who knows how we behave, right? So I think we always are contradictory towards others and that are doing things different than what we would do. We would always look we always look at them and be like, oh, like, he has daughters and this and that. Well, again, he can be contradictory. Just because you're a hypocrite.
I get that.
We're all hypocrites.
Yes,
we all say
but then at the end of the day, like, in this world where everything is meaningless and all of that, like, I get what you're saying, that you are confined to your principles in a way. Like, people could people could predict you because if I know you're a loyal person and I know you're gonna be loyal,
then they can take advantage of that.
Take advantage of those situations. But at the same time, what's wrong with living by your principles? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you have to stand for something. You know what I mean?
But this is what I'm saying about the hypocriticalness where, as you said, you have to stand by something, but I don't think you have to stand by something. I think that you could stand for something today and then tomorrow you can change what you stand on. That's what I'm saying about the hypocriticalness. Because if I say today, I believe in this is what I believe, say marriage is to be. Say I have my opinion on marriage. Then tomorrow, or I'm going to marry a woman and I change my mind on what I think it is. It's like, that's part of life, being a hypocrite. It's getting more knowledge, understanding. That's what I'm trying to say.
That.
Like,
if you're...
When you're in a different position, the understanding becomes different. That's what I'm trying to say. That. Don't be so. It's not so easy to be. Yeah, you're a hypocrite without knowing the reason of why they chose to go a different direction. That's what I'm trying to say. If I choose to say, I said, I believe in monogamy and something like this, and then I change and cheat, say for example, on my woman, and it's like, you're a hypocrite. You've been saying monogamy.
Yeah.
Now you're doing a different thing. It's like, yes, you're doing a different thing, but there's reasons for whatever it is you're doing.
I understand what you're saying 100%, but I feel like what's wrong with sometimes just sticking by, like, yes, things happen where you would be a hypocrite. Like, we are hypocrites. You definitely would say something one day and do the next other day. But I would think that you would try not to be, you want to be a man of your word, and you want what you said yesterday to stand for something today. You know what I mean? In the sense of it, like, you don't want to be hypocritical all the time because you have the ability to be hypocritical.
I get that. No, because
but what I'm saying is, this is quickly on my point. My whole thing is, a predictable person will say that. To somebody unpredictable, it's unpredictable.
So what's so great about being unpredictable?
What I'm saying is, you have to ask yourself the question: being unpredictable or being predictable, which is better for your lifestyle?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Being unpredictable, the problem with being unpredictable sometimes is it makes it hard for you to find business partners because they don't know what to expect from you. Because you might say something today, but tomorrow you switch your mind. And now if you got a shaky business partner like that, it's like, I don't want to do business with you because your principles change by the day. It changes by the season.
But what I'm saying is, of course, if you change simple principles all the time, people will recognize that. But what I'm saying is, as progressions in life, not in the short term. I'm talking about like long-term progressions of what you may have thought something was today.
Progressions in life, I feel like even those progressions in life, you should have solid reasons why, like, like, you can't be a person where, like, yo, I stand for monogamy all my life, and then one morning you just be like, oh, you know what? It's fine to be hypocritical. I'm gonna go to polite. You have to have things that happen in your life for you to be like, all right, you know what?
That.
Yeah, but this is
why I am
no,
this way.
But
I used to stand that way.
Knowledge and knowledge is the biggest thing, right? That's why I talked about the predictability and unpredictableness. The unpredictable nature is that you went deeper into what it is you believe to be your principle.
Yeah.
You went deeper into it, and then you started to look into, oh, is this actually wrong? No, I was looking at it at this point of view when I was, say, broke. Or when I was a broke guy, I had these principles. Because you can't tell me your principles don't change from you being broke and you being rich. As much as people want to say,
the problem is, like, you can amend your principles, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's what I mean
by amending your principles, changing them up.
You can change them up, but I feel like you shouldn't be someone where you're like, you don't have any principles.
No, you have to have principles, absolutely.
Just, you know what I mean?
So even when I talk about, like, hypocrisy, it's more so on certain decisions you may make.
Okay. So, we're going to wrap it up from here. And I guess the moral of the story is you can be unpredictable, but it needs to come over time. It can't just be automatic. Usually when people turn unpredictable is due to certain circumstances that changes a person's life, decisions that come over time. And people that are predictable are just, I guess, people that kind of stay consistent on their craft and what they do on a daily basis. But I think today was a great podcast, conversation. We learned a lot. And we're going to wrap it up with this. It's Far From Normal podcast. And we are out.
Deuces.